Majority Leader Mike Shirkey.
Great analogy, loaves and fishes and endless bread. That's a great analogy, yeah.
Well, the spring session kind of winding down.
Yep.
And the folks in Lansing, the covering legislature, saying it's kind of like ending with a whimper and not a bang. But there is a pretty big deal. That's the budget and road funding.
Right. But let's explore for a moment why it appears to be ending like a whimper rather than a bang. And it's because we've in our culture we've expected this. We have this expectation that we're supposed to act like what Washington's doing, you know, and always be constantly at each other's throats and everything being contentious. And I think we've proven that that's not necessary. I mean, there are issues of contention, but you know, it doesn't need to be the dysfunction that we've observed at the national level. And we've proven that in this first 6 months of the first, you know, my governor's first term. And right now, basically, it boils down to budget and roads. We're a little behind on the budget compared to what we've done the last 8 years, and I feel bad about that for local governments and schools because, you know, it's nice to have that advance notice. But through you and your program to people in your watching and listening area, people shouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, there's not going to be draconian cuts in schools. Actually, there's going to be increases in schools, and so it's just going to take a little bit longer to get completed. And the reason for that is that, you know, my governor has wanted to tie budget and roads together. I've tried to keep them separate because they deserve to be separate and they're sufficiently complex. But my friends in the House decided to kind of put them together, and so it was a calculus for me to say, okay, we're not going to make a big deal out of that, but it will cause the budget to take longer to work out.
Well, that is breaking news because the House has a plan that does address the roads, and this is news that the Senate is likely to concur with the House. And
we're concurring with the House that roads will be part of the budget conversation. We are not concurring with the House on their proposal, although the one biggest element of their proposal, and that is taking all taxes paid at the pump and applying them to roads, we are in complete agreement on that. But how to backfill for the holes that's created, how to find additional money for roads, because I believe additional money is necessary beyond that, we are not in agreement on that yet. We will be, but it's going to take a few weeks.
Well, the governor is in agreement with you too that there is additional money needed, and she's been talking about an additional 40 to 50 cents a gallon in taxes for roads. Is that part of the House plan, or will that be part of the compromise?
The House plan did not include any additional road gas tax. Are you interested in paying 45 cents a gallon? And okay, I just checking, No, but I will share with you that there's not going to be a 45-cent gas tax increase. That's not going to happen. But there will be new revenue. This is one man's opinion that I think the Senate will reflect. We do need additional revenue beyond just those taxes that are being dedicated now to roads at the pump.
Well, additional revenue, AKA taxes in some form. Where would you be looking at?
It could be fuel tax, could be additional, gas tax. It could be an expansion of sales tax on a very small cohort of what I consider or what I call discretionary services that we don't tax at all now. 41 other states do. It'll be if we did that, and I give that a 20% probability, but it'd be a very well-defined cohort of services like lawn services, dry cleaning, movie tickets, for-profit sports entertainment, not non-profit. Not like a University of Michigan or Michigan State University ticket for football, but for Detroit Lions or Pistons and stuff like that. So they're things that I think most people would agree are discretionary, not necessary parts of life. And the point here being it's less regressive than a gas tax is.
Dry cleaning?
Dry cleaning, yeah, that's an example.
This was talked about 4 or 5 years ago, a service tax. And
it was longer than that. It was 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
It was Governor Granholm that did it. And but the mistake they made when they did it is that what they should have done is they should have agreed on what that looks like, held it somewhat close, and then put the votes up and get the votes. But what they did is they didn't hold it tight, and so all the different special interests, each one of those categories, would come in and talk to their legislator or talk to their senator or talk to the governor at that time, Governor Granholm, and they'd peel this one off and peel that one off, and everybody have an excuse. These would be strategically selected so it doesn't create an uncompetitive environment for anybody. Okay. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, because I said it's probably a 20% probability for it.
Yeah, and it's weeks away until you think the budget will be ready.
I'd be delighted if we finish the budget in July, and I know we'll finish it in August. If we don't finish it in July, I know we'll finish it in August.
And it's all because of the roads.
It's because we're including roads in the discussion. That's right.
Okay.
So,
What about cuts? Are there any things? Are there any things that are in danger?
Yeah, there's a few things that are going to be selectively trimmed out. I'm not going to reveal too many of them today, because I don't need the phone calls yet. But tying it back to roads, to fully fund roads, we need more revenue. Doesn't mean it needs to be all new revenue, which that means that we have to evaluate our current spending priorities. And then, just like any household, we also are going to evaluate our cash flow, financing opportunities. And after those two are exhausted and we can't find any more, then the conversation will turn to new revenue. But it's in that order.
The economy has improved to a point where cities are seeing increases in the property values, taxes increasing. Because of property values,
Right.
We're seeing people fuller employment. Are we seeing any state revenue benefits from a better economy in the state?
Yeah, we've had increases in received incoming revenue for the last 3 years. This year was less than what we expected, but it wasn't negative. Sales tax collections are a little lower than expected, and we're trying to figure out, what might be causing that. I think it's a statistical blip. I don't think it's a trend.
You'd think that with the change in law regarding internet collection of taxes,
Right.
where out-of-state retailers or anybody who sells from out of state is required to collect Michigan tax
Right.
by law. Has it been measured?
Yeah, and it's increasing, but there's a lot of very small players on the internet that changing their systems so that they can collect taxes and then remit them to whatever state. It's going to take them a while to catch up, and so that'll be, I think $150 million a year is what the projection is on today's economy once that's fully put to use.
All right.
Yeah, that's really what the focus is right now, in that and trying to keep track of all the crazy stuff my Attorney General's doing, which is a full-time job.
Well, this week she said that the Attorney General's office was allowed to ignore the previous Attorney General's ruling on the civil rights, Elliot
Right.
Larson, and discrimination areas of inclusion and discrimination, most notably the LGBTQ
Right.
community.
Right. So just think about what she said. She said that she told the Civil Rights Commission that they could ignore an Attorney General's opinion. Well, she is an Attorney General, so
She can ignore the previous. They can ignore the previous Attorney General's.
Therefore, she, by definition, then we can also ignore this Attorney General's opinion on other things. In other words, an opinion by an Attorney General is exactly that, an opinion. It's not law. It can be challenged, but too many people assume it's law. So I was quoted saying, "I'm confused about my Attorney General being confused whether or not her opinion matters or not."
Well, it sounds like the Michigan Civil Rights Commission was already ignoring the previous Attorney General's opinion based on their statements this week.
And it's not just the Civil Rights Commission. It's a lot of administrative law judge efforts across departments who believe they have free rein to basically make law, and that's probably one of the next big issues that Speaker Chatfield and I will take on is that no, you law judges don't make law. You departments don't make law. You think you do.
The House settled on a leader for the next term.
Fantastic decision. Fantastic decision. Well, only if the Republicans bring back majority. And I was in the process of sending Representative Wentworth, a text message when you called me out here, but I'm going to tell him congratulations. I look forward to serving with you and being a partner with you, but I will kick your butt if you don't bring back a majority. So, Jason, if you're listening, that's what the message is coming to you.
All right. Your work is cut out for you. Well, great to see you. Thanks for
Thank you.
The updates.
Let's go enjoy this long, sunny day today.
Yes. We might have 2 in a row.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Bart.
Thanks, Mike. Our state senator, Mike Shirkey. Well, the Jackson County Fair